Dr. ندى, you were sentenced to 15 years, and Dr. Fatima Haji, you were sentenced to 5 years in prison. Dr. ندى ضيف, I'm going to start with you. How did you react to the sentence when it was handed down in Manama?
Well, to begin with, it was a total shock. Fatima was with me here in the house. She came to support me. First, when I heard the verdict, I started to laugh, then cry, then laugh again. I went hysterical. 15 years in prison. For what? I don't know for what. I need somebody to answer me.
What happens now, ندى? What happens now? I mean, are you expecting authorities to arrest you? Are you free until there is an appeal?
We're expecting them to come and arrest us any minute. Any minute. They just can rush into the house and arrest us and detain us, similar to the first time, and horrify my kids.
Because you were arrested once, you say you were tortured in detention, and you're now saying that these charges are fabricated, that you did nothing wrong during those 3 weeks of protests in Manama.
Not at all. I didn't do anything wrong. Actually, I did something right. What I did is I followed the rules and protocols and the oath I swear on. I helped people. I volunteered in the medical tent to provide medical attention to the maximum number of people.
Yeah. And Dr. I just want to get to, ندى, I want to get to Fatima Haji. You were sentenced to 5 years. You were in that hospital at the time, and you've heard the charges that the Suleymaniya Medical Center was used for political purposes, that there were weapons there, that there were knives, that this was all designed to topple the regime. What exactly happened in that hospital during that time when you were treating injured protesters? Was it being used for political reasons?
Not at all. It's basically the main governmental hospital at the island. So ultimately, all the casualties and the injured people, regardless if they are protester or not, will end up at the end of the day in the hospital. We, the medical groups, doctors, nurses, and paramedics, we basically did our job, our duties as doctors and as professions. We received those people who needed help. We helped them. We tried to do our best, though that the number that we received were hundreds every day. And we just, consult ourselves to our code of ethics. There were people who wanted help, and we helped them. That's all what happened. Yeah. Regardless, the weapons and knives and etc. These are just, bunch of lies. We did not have any weapons or any sort of knives that we've used, just to take control of the hospital.
So why do you think the government is doing this to you and your medical colleagues?
Basically, we were witnesses. We were there during the events in February and March. We saw the types and the numbers of injuries that came in the hospital. And the main hospital was the hot focus for the media and the journals. So they all end up coming to the hospital to see and to reflect that to their medias and to their international TVs, what's going on in the country. And it came to be that we were there in the scene. Some of us cried on the videos, like me. The only thing I came out is just crying on national TV. The others were, some of them, they were talking that about the types of injuries and the increasing number of the protesters.
So and, Fatima, you're saying that essentially you were being punished because you were witnesses to what the government did to the anti-government protesters.
Exactly.
And I want to ask you, ندى, what is your family situation? Do you have children? What has been their reaction to all of this as you've been tried and now sentenced to 15 years?
Yeah. I have 2 girls, 8 years old and 6.5. Yeah. They don't know anything. they are so much traumatized because of my absence when I was arrested during March till early April. They don't know anything. Me and their father, we made sure we keep them away of this. Yeah. And yet, with all the measures we took to ensure that they are out of this, out of focus, still they are blaming me that, oh, mommy, you were gone for 2 months. You did not call. We never heard from you. How come you leave us alone? And yeah. still they wake up in the night crying, thinking that their mother is gone. How do you expect me to explain to my kids that I will be gone for 15 years? How can I just explain it to them? How can I tell them that the government is accusing me of being a criminal and a killer and a traitor? I have no way to defend myself. Not in the court, not in the media. It's now. Now I decided to speak up.
Dr. ندى ضيف and Dr. Fatima Haji. Dr. ندى ضيف was sentenced to 15 years in prison in a Bahraini court yesterday, and Dr. Fatima Haji to 5 years. Thank you so much for joining us live there from Manama with your reaction to these sentences. There is an appeal, but both doctors telling us there that they expect arrest at any moment there in Bahrain. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll stay in close touch with you with regards to what happens going forward as a result of this trial. Thank you again.